Good evening and welcome back to the We Are Rise show. I'm your host, Brett C. Collins. How's everybody doing out there in this wonderful Friday evening? It's a great Friday. A lot of good stuff going on. It's a call-in show tonight. So I dropped the links. I'll drop them again. So if you want to come on, I'm flying solo. Marshall's on a gay Tinder date. I'm just joking. He's out with some Haitian broad. I'm just joking. He's out, I guess. I don't know what he's doing. He said he had plans. So I said, okay, no problem. I mean, hey, man, go live your life, man. You're a young buck. Go live your life. Go have fun. Just stay off of gay Tinder. I'm just playing. What's going on out there to everybody out there? I'm just having fun. People getting, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. You're just impossible. You're an impossible man. You're impossible, man. Marshall's not crying. Oh my God. You know what? I'm just having fun. I'm just playing. No, dog, you're so funny. Conley, what's up? Yeah, what's going on? I mean, we're having a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. The music's on. I expect everybody to be calling in. At least, we got a lot of stuff if you want to listen to or get to. I mean, I'm going to be, a little apoplectic because I'm just so psyched about what's going on and what I see what's taking place. And, I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. I think you're starting to see a lot of people. The turn is happening. President Trump, again, pulling the rug out on many people out there. So, yeah, it's just great. The comments, you guys are great, man. You guys are brutal. I put on the music. So what? I mean, do you want to hear it a little bit louder? I'll put it a little bit louder. I mean, I got to cover the stuff. So, I mean, I'll have that on there. We'll get to more stuff. Tonight's show, Figure It Out Friday, Getting It Straight, Spying on Americans, Gaming Traffic Control. Yeah, we're going to talk about what the traffic control, the Department of Transportation is doing. Apparently, they're basically, they're targeting gamers. Hey, you want to be a traffic controller and make almost $200,000 a year, whatever it is? I'm like, that's just fantastic. I'm not a gamer, but how do I get that? I knew a guy, I had a friend long time ago back in the 90s that, he's a pilot. I don't know if he's retired, but he's still a pilot. He flies privately. I'm not going to say his name or anything, but for a private, what have you. And he learned how to fly in the 90s during simulations, learning on his own computer, learning how to fly in that way. It's just amazing that what you see that's out there that you can do. So it's no surprise. I'm not surprised that any type of gaming operation that you're really good at, that you could be good at doing that. I don't see why not. Think about all the military games and all the stuff that they do with the drones and all these different things. I guarantee all these young bucks are managing that. You got a lot of young kids. You heard the actual Secretary of Defense. You had the chief. Raising Cane, General Raising Cane, basically explain and talk about. You have many other people, Admiral Bradley, talk about all these young individuals operating these, $1 million equipment on ships and submarines and being operators all over the place. It's quite extraordinary. We don't give that we don't give the youth in that matter so much love, so much affection in some way, because once they're in a position where you can elevate them to another level, it's just extraordinary. I'm not saying recruit them earlier in some way, but give them the opportunities as they're growing up and saying, hey, look, if you were doing this, you were doing that, why don't you come into our fold? Whether it's becoming an air traffic controller, coming into the military, many other different positions. I could see that with corporations in general. The American government was hiring hackers. They arrest you, and then they bring you into the fold and say, you could do your term, do your service, work for us, we'll pay you, and then clear your record, So, there's many different options, I think, for a lot of people out there. And, I know a lot of people are worried about the future, what's going on with AI. I am worried about that as well. But it makes no difference to me now. I want to get into a couple of things tonight. I want to say hello over here to pill.net. What's going on, pill.net? Wood USA, thank you for the 217 gold pills. I see you. Rob Stickler, what's up? Long time no see. Trusty Turnip, good to see you. Who else is here? Patty B. Yeah, thank you for the phone. Another phone. Music pleases on. Darla L. Good to see you. Curious Cat. When do we fix elections? You know what? The time it comes around, and it may already be done. I'll just leave it at that, but I'm not completely and entirely sure. There's so many other things going on, especially what Spamberger did in Virginia for presidential elections. I wonder how that's going to go to the Supreme Court, signing into that legislation with the quantum spawn, respawn. Good to see you, Darla. Thank you for the can. And the cookie curious cat. Who else is here? What's going on? Hindenbunter. What's up? No dog, good to see you. True Terran, what's up? Rudy Poo, Chomp Chop. Yep, good to see everybody out there. Alita over here on Rumble. Good to see everybody out there who's over here on let's see who's over here on is anybody over here on YouTube? I think there are people over here on YouTube. Well, there were people over at YouTube. If you're on YouTube, just share and subscribe, leave us a comment or two. Let us know we're not monetized over there. If you want to help out the platform, you know what to do. You can help us out on pill.net. You can help us out on Rumble. Of course, Brett, tell Darla I said hello. Okay, Alita. Alita says hello over there on pill.net, Darla. So she's just saying hello. So I guess if you guys want to play phone tag, I'll be your work study buddy. All right, let's get into a lot of stuff. Never mind. I'm not going to get into all the other stuff, but it's kind of funny. So let me really get into the conversation tonight. And it's a call in, so I dropped it. So don't be scared. I'm not going to bite your head off. I mean, I know certain people said, "Oh, this and that." And I'm like, call in. It's not that hard. All you have to do is you click on the button, you send it back to yourself, and you re-click on it, and then there you go. And then you're into the actual StreamYard chat, and you can come on. I mean, Blue Viking does it. Many other people have done it. So I urge everybody to come on and stuff. Okay, as we move forward, let's continue on. There's so much stuff that we got to get into. I want to break it down tonight. So President Trump reveals Iran agreed to no enrichment uranium, an absolute monumental win. Okay, he says they agreed to no enrichment uranium. This is fantastic. Absolute. Did Iran agree to stopping enrichment uranium, getting rid of their ability to create these weapons? He did. He said, yes, they agreed to everything in news nations. And I want to be clear about that. A lot of the posturing that's going on that you hear that, no, they didn't, no agreement, it's been signed. I just want to give you some overview about this before we play this and stuff. You got to consider this, that a lot of these subject matters regarding this, the concessions in some way, they want to appear that they have some type of ability to make sure that they can negotiate. They don't want to come in weak and obstructive. So President Trump is forcing the issue. He's pressuring them into these concessions in a lot of ways. He's making a bold, bellicose, contentious, truculent, pugnacious declaration to maximize the pressure with the blockade, the fear of more strikes to shape-shift the narrative and squeeze leverage, harden the declaring the deal is done. And we'll get to that, but today's a great day. There's a lot of great stuff that's coming out there. Let's play this.
News Nation's Kelly Meyer just spoke with the president on the phone about these developments. I mean, fervent posts on social media. Kelly, you asked him specifically about all of this breaking news. Share with us the conversation.
Yeah, hey, Marty. So I just got off the phone with the president, and we are here in Las Vegas. We are traveling with him as he makes his way to Arizona today. But he has been posting this stream, as you mentioned, of posts on Truth Social. So I called him and asked and just got right to the point, because the posts sound as though this has been agreed to. And when I asked, did Iran agree to the main sticking point here of stopping enriching uranium, getting rid of their ability to create these weapons, he said yes. So I said, did they agree to stop enriching uranium? He said they agreed to everything. And then he asked me, are you surprised? So I asked him, are you surprised? And he said, I'm not surprised by anything. And then he said, I'll see you later. And the call ended. So it seemed as though, from the way that these posts are coming across on his Truth Social page, that this was a successful morning. He didn't give any more detail into what calls have been happening this morning. It's now, 7:45 here in Las Vegas, 10:45 in the East Coast. And he might have been having these conversations through the night and into the morning, but he's saying this is a great and a brilliant day for the world. He's saying that Iran agreed never to close the Strait again, and all of these different posts. So it gives the indication that there has been big, massive movement in getting this deal with Iran.
Wow. What a development. We'll watch and wait and see if the president then responds in transit. Kelly traveling with the president. Kelly, thank you for jumping on the phone and for sharing that piece of an exchange that you had with the president.
Do you see, look at the financial markets. You hear Kelly Meyer talking about a White House correspondent. You see calling in News Nation. You see the markets. President Trump is selling the upside, ladies and gentlemen. He's using optimism with the blockade to box Iran in permanently. Yes, he is. He wants to influence the markets and oil prices. So the more and more you project this out, the more and more everything changes. We're talking like a 23% drop. I mean, what, oil's trading around 80 now? Stock market was up 1,000. It's insane. The level of what? Speculation that's all over the place, and the power that he wields, okay, through his magic wand to fluctuate, to turn this thing on a dime. And I say to everybody out there that when you hear all this other stuff about, the bluster and the bravado and all these different things, and say, well, it's an agreement in principle. Nothing is signed yet. That is correct. Iran just wants to sign off on the agreement without what? Formalizing and finalizing said concessions. That's what it is. Okay, they want to move past it. That's the noise. That's what's being bellicosed out by them. That's what's being pushed out there, all right, to make them seem obstructive and contentious. All right. Yes, they are managing expectations. They are downplaying and under-promising. Yes, they're protecting their red lines and defending non-negotiable boundaries. That's how it's made to appear. That's what this theatrical masterpiece is. It's selling you the drama while simultaneously, all right, changing the market perception, changing your points of view about how President Trump is handling this. He's showing you the power that is being wielded before you and saying, look, there's nothing to fear. We had this. It's already been done. It's already been done. Okay? And that's the argument that's being, let's just say, sold out there by many, many people. I agree with this in some ways, that this whole thing has been already done. And I think the idea that we consider and ponder on the idea how the shapeshift of a narrative came into play within less than 38 days. And then all of a sudden we got peace, or some level of peace. We're talking about nuclear dust. We'll get to those colloquies regarding the informal languages about how President Trump speaks about these things. But it's just so funny, the bluster that's out there that is happening at the moment, and people can't get what? They can't get their heads wrapped around about it. And also, I think this is also made to take down, to show, to permeate out there to a great swath of people who bought into, let's just say, people that have big name platforms with a lot of followers, and they were pushing out, junk and garbage. They were accumulating a lot of people, and I'm sure that those people are being dipped out and selling a narrative and a lie, and they continue to sell a narrative and a lie. All right. And I think, unfortunately, right now, they're going to eat crow. And if they're not eating crow now, they will later. But eventually, is that people will catch on to the idea is that, look, you need to avoid these people. You need to just stay away from them. Don't even get involved. Even though if there are certain things that are out there that are whistling in your ear that sounds good, just because it does, it doesn't mean it is. So here we go. And I want to say this right now. This was fantastic. So we should all be right now having a great time and have a great night on this Friday night. Let's fucking go. Come on.
You are watching a master at work.
Woo! Come on! It's over. It was over before it even started. We're just playing catch up. It's fast forward time. I'll probably get a strike on YouTube. It's not like I care. I'm not monetized. But it's like copyright. Well, I didn't copyright it. The White House did. Maybe they had permission. Maybe I got to have them talk to them. We'll see. We'll see at the end of the show. I think it's so funny. Let's say hello. What's up, Curious Cat? Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for the cookie. And Darlell for the can. Hello, Lone Ranger. Yes, I'm not a Lone Ranger tonight. If I'm here with you, you're here with me. All right. Why don't you call in? All right. It's okay. I won't bite your head off. I know some people say, what's up, Golly? There's some funny people. True Terran, Trump revealed tonight that some UFO files are about to be released. We'll see. We'll cover that a little bit tonight. Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good thing. But what does that mean per se? What has been some way declassified? I don't know. I mean, what are we walking into? I think we're walking into a lot of great things. And I want to show you right now why there's so much subterfuge about what's going on, because a lot of people's like, this deal ain't done. It hasn't been signed. Trump might go to Islamabad. Why would he want to go in there? Why would he need to go there? The deal is already done. It happened a long time ago. This is all perception management, okay? And here we are to show you. This is what it is. There's nothing as real as this. And I love this because it's one of my favorite movies. But Donald Trump, this was great. This is fucking great. Love it. Come on, this is fantastic. Knock him out. My God, look at that. That is so funny. I'm going to play this again. You got to look at this again and how funny this is. We're just trying to have some fun here. And the speculation and everything that's happening. Look how funny this is. I'll take the thing off Oh my God, that is so great. I mean, honestly, I think that's so funny. I don't know about you, but I find that, just so comical in a lot of ways. I don't know why people take offense to it in some ways. But like, dude, that's just not cool and stuff. We can't play that in some way. Why not? Why can't we play that? What's so funny about that? I think, look, what I'm saying is right now, everything that we're seeing, as real as that we could base it, all right? Is it? I mean, President Trump saying the deal's already done. Wait, here's Election Wizard putting this out there. He's telling CBS it's already done. It's already done. We haven't signed anything. Nothing has been, let's just say, agreed upon, at least that we can understand. Trump to CBS News on Iran. They've agreed to everything. It's a great deal. It's a wonderful deal. It's already done. Look at these replies. I said, or just maybe this thing was over a long time ago. We're in a fast forward phase. You bet. You bet. In reality, look, Iran totally surrendered for some reason. They gave Trump everything. They're giving him their enriched uranium. Was it theirs to begin with? Consider that. In exchange for what? Nothing. Trump said on Truth Social, we won. And then, all the other doomers and people like, no, they haven't. I'm a little sick and tired of this guy with the constant lying. It isn't true or even remotely close to being true. It's daily now. It throws out the crap. He knows it's freaking true. Look, the bottom line is, if you think in some way that you understand this in any type of stream of consciousness that we could base off any sense of reality in this purported, let's just say, theatrical masterpiece, you're fooling yourselves. Because I can tell you something right now. I don't believe any of this. I believe whatever was taking place now, already happened, and we've moved the ball to this period to show you that it already happened and how it happened and what was done. And so they put a little flair, a little panache in there. They gin this thing up to make it a little bit more flamboyant and a little bit more, let's just say, contentious as certain things. I mean, I saw some people talking about how there was a lot of sporty talk. And I'm going to show you this right now because this comes from, I think there's a commentary in here about Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham. Oh, my God. Lindsey Graham, you got to go bye-bye. Sorry, bro. Even Roger Stone calling you out. You got to go bye-bye. you got to go and take a hot dirt nap. Somewhere you need to go bye-bye. I mean, just go to a bathhouse and never come back. Seriously, go to a Turkish bathhouse and just don't come back. All right? Have a lot of fun. Don't get on the phone with cum on your face, dicks in your ass. We don't want to see it. I'm done with you, buddy. It's time now. You've been here 4 hours. And you've done everybody in the place. It's over. President Trump is directly talking to Iranians. He is negotiating himself. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. He was on the phone with the Iranians a couple of days ago, and he got rather sporty. It got a little sporty. What does sporty mean? Well, it means snazzy, flashy, stylish, brazen, flamboyant. That's probably why Lindsey Graham likes it, because it's a little flamboyant. You got ornate, brash, verbose, because he's on the phone and he's like, what? He's talking to the other end, and who's listening? I will skull fuck you out. I mean, you can imagine Trump. I mean, this whole thing, and then being recorded and stuff. It just, and saying things that are so over the top, and like I said, bellicose, that would just basically, Lindsey Graham has got to be like all as a, just listening to it as a conduit on a sideshow and saying, I hate to be the Iranian on receiving the end of that. So President Trump is now directly involved in the negotiations. Here it is. Iran threatens to close Hormuz again if the blockade continues, even though they agreed that what? That it's already open and shut. They're going to keep it open. Everything is fine. That's what getting it straight is, that you could see the conversation about that. Here's President Trump today. I didn't know he was in, I knew he was in Phoenix, but I didn't know it was a Turning Point rally. So there was probably a good chance I was not going to watch it. I'm done with Turning Point USA. I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done with Erica Kirk. I don't care what's going on with the trial. They're going to railroad this kid. Either he's going to die somewhere in that holding cell and or be suicided out, or they're going to do everything they can to hang everything against them. And I don't care if I'm a part of a small minority of people, the 7 to 10% people that don't believe he did it. I don't. And I don't care. You know, Lindsey drinks a lot. Yeah, he drinks a lot of cum. He loves the taste of semen. Apparently, he likes it salty. He puts it in his beer. That's what we're told. Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. But as I digress, I don't care. That's why I want to watch a TP USA thing. And now they're backtracking because, well, President Trump is here, and the TP USA was bigger because the JD Vance was here. So you have to ask yourself, what was the reason that they underperformed and undersold the UGA TPUSA rally with JD Vance when Erica Kirk didn't show up? And then now in Phoenix, which is the headquarters, overperformed, sold out, what have you. She's not here, but Trump is. Let's listen to this.
To get the nuclear test, we're going to get it by going in with Iran, with lots of excavators, because the B-2s, remember when fake news CNN said, well, maybe obliteration is too strong a word. Obliteration. That's so deep. We need the biggest excavators you can imagine. But we're going to go in together with Iran. We're going to get it. And we're going to take it back home to the USA. Very simple. And now
the question will be, how did they get it in the first place? I mean, the argument should be postulated out. Why isn't anybody positing, how did they obtain this uranium? How did they get it? Who sold it to them? How did they acquire it? Did our government give it to them? Did they steal it? Did Israel give it to them? Did Russia sell it to them from Uranium One deal that Hillary Clinton gave to Russia? Is that part of it? Well, we'll find out. If they get this nuclear dust, which is Trump's colloquially term for Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium, the material that is processed into fuel for nuclear weapons, that's what he calls it. I think in some way you have to understand and infer that we're going to find out what measure of intelligence will precipitate out from this and where it will be extracted from, that will get the causal connection and then put this together. I think so. Is it more likely that this is part of the Uranium One deal that Russia ended up selling to them? I'd say right now on my chart of hit and miss, I'd say that's probably at the high. I'd say right now I'm at 55% of that. Would Israel give them that? No, I don't think so. Would they allow it to be stolen from them? I don't know. Could they have obtained it from North Korea, Pakistan, China? Yeah, I'd say that's in the 35% tier. But someone directly gave this enrichment uranium or nuclear dust that President Trump talks about. And he talks about, we're going to go in together. We're going to be what? We're going to be roommates now, bosom buddies. We're going to be pals after we obliterate you. We're going to be bosom buddies. We're going to go in there. We're going to sweep up all the dust. We're going to put it in a little time capsule. We're going to bring it back to the United States. We're going to test it. And then from the testing, we're going to go through all this, let's just say what? Pronunciation about where it came from. How did it get out in all these areas in some way? It's going to be glorious. It's going to be fabulous. I mean, so many great things are going to, let's just say, happen and be disclosed because of this. All right, let's move on and stuff. And here's the big talking enchilada of tonight, because I think this is important in some way. This is what we're really excited about. Everybody should be excited about that. Trump announces the deal with Iran. Now, whatever you think about the deal in general, it really doesn't matter. Trump also told both outlets a broader deal, the end with the war in Iran, launched in late February by the United States and Israel, is close to be finished. He said negotiations are a lasting agreement and will probably take place this weekend. Whether he goes or not, we don't know. When pressed again, Trump said Iran had agreed to everything. So, of course, I'm getting back to the idea they agreed to everything because they don't want to look weak and feeble and obstructive publicly. So whatever they say behind the scenes, they don't want to be pressured in to other further concessions that Trump is pushing them in and strangleholding them. They want to make sure that they present a hard line of control, basically agreements in principle, but they also are utilizing this in some way to further continue on their absconding on how many more concessions they will take in. I think that's the other thing. I think a lot of people, and again, it's called managing their expectations. So breaking, I just spoke with President Trump on the phone, Las Vegas. I asked him about this, about the stream. Yes, he told me they agreed. Enriched uranium. Yes, blah, blah, blah. You're surprised. Are you surprised? He told me, I'm not surprised by anything. Of course he's not surprised. Is anybody surprised? Does anybody, let me know in the chat, does anybody believe this was already done a long time ago and we're just hearing about it now? I mean, I know that's kind of hard to fathom, but can you really just like in some way think about this and posit this for a moment? Take this in for a moment. Is everything that we're seeing just an orchestration, a theatrical, let's just say, moving, unwinding, unyielding play? And then we're just bringing it from one point of view to the next and moving it forward. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said Friday the Strait has been reopened for commercial traffic following a ceasefire on Lebanon. We'll get to Lebanon. In a post on X, Araghchi said that the critical waterway is declared completely open. So first they deny, and then they say it's open. So again, you can't tell one way or another. Are people basically pulling and yanking your chain? So also, it's like uranium has a signature. They will find out. Yes, that's exactly what I'm suggesting. And you were dead on, my friend. Where it came from, Bibi said they will go and get it. And Trump told them to pound sand. Absolutely. The question, that's why I was theorizing certain points of view about where did it come from? Yes, I believe a lot of this shit has been figured out a long time ago, right, Schaefer? Good to see you. Thea, it's all wake up normies. Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on all the wake up normies. Link to Trump UFO announcement. I will look at that, True Terran. I have to continue on. I got so many other things that I want to get into, but I will cover that subject. I will definitely I think I have something from Slay News about it. Here's Election Wizard again, coming in, always on top of it. Basically what? Well, did the post go away? Yes, the post went away. Ooh. They deleted the post. Why? Yeah, Election Wizard had this post where the actual betting rates were up to this high. It's about 60 to 80% that this whole thing is already a done deal. And I think in some way, they took. Let me see if it comes back. No. Yeah, they deleted that. I'm sorry about that. Well, that sucks. moving on. But I wanted to show you that. I think it was Kalishi. The Kalishi had it at 80% that the thing is done. And the question is, it was asking further questions. What is done? All right, let's move on. I got a couple other things. We're going to move into other different topics of conversation. Again, we have a call-in show. I'm going to drop it again. Here comes Julie Donut saying, boom, thank God for President Trump. Secretary Kennedy basically clearing the house with information. Can you imagine the Democrats' ears that are bleeding out of every orifice of their body? Rectal bleeding cleanup in aisle 7. When they hear the legendary Kennedy's son, a Democrat who sits in the Trump administration and says this is unbelievable.
President Trump is cleaning up messes that other people made, and he's doing it in a way.
Clean up in aisle 7, rectal bleeding. Yeah, he's cleaning up everything. Everything and anything.
He's the best business bargainer that we've ever had in the presidency. He knows how to make deals. He's made the best deals for this country through tariffs, all the things he's engaged in. He's a genius at it. Let him do his work. Let him be president. Give him your support, and let's support this country and our troops and try to move forward as a nation. He's trying to fix the problems that you made.
That you made. Yeah, that didn't go over well. But Bobby Kennedy has 10 days testifying for 7 congressional hearings, or 7 congressional hearings for 10 days, or vice versa. I mean, that is just insane because of all the changes that are happening at Health and Human Services and what he's doing all over the place. All right, let's continue on. I mean, I got a couple of things. I'm not going to play a lot of the video clips and stuff, but we'll just play a little bit of this because it'll take up time. But again, I want you to call in and let me drop this again. So you can call in if you like, or don't. Be a scaredy cat. That's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Call in. That's fine. All right, let me continue on. So here we go. Victor David Hansen, pretty smart guy, has some good talking points here. He says Trump's week-long strategy to bleed Iran dry. I'm going to play a little bit of this. This is pretty good, but I'm not going to cover all of it because it's very long, and I'll drop it in the chat and expect you to listen to all of it. It really gives a good overview, summation, and where we're headed now. And it also postulates the theory. Was this already done? How did this get done so quickly? And why did so many people take their eye off the ball of how President Trump's powers, his powers of influence with the markets and oil prices, the pressure of Iran into these concessions, forcing them into it, to shape-shifting them into a leverage harder by declaring what? The deal is done. Every day, it's done. It's finished. No. It's done. Don't listen to all the other people. It's done. It's finished. What if he's telling you it's already done? Why are we sitting back and saying, okay, and we're fighting about, we're reading all this other agitprop and propaganda noise that's coming out there from all these different, subservient intelligence groups and articles, periodicals that's saying, no, they didn't say it. No, they didn't say it. You got Tucker, Candace, all these other people making commentary to obstruct and convolute the noise. That's part of it. You got so many people attacking Trump that it's hard to get through. Again, he uses bellicose, I'll say pugnacious, let's just say irrelevancy by many people of using certain different vernacular to describe this and really saying, we made a huge mistake. We're losing the war. They had no proof of it. And anybody said we lost the war, you should basically automatically delete them. I mean, in what context or pretext would you believe such, bullshit? I understand because Iraq war and Afghanistan, but we didn't lose those wars. We just sacrificed a lot of blood and treasure. Did we gain anything out of it? I don't know. I don't think we'll ever know. I know for a period of time, they were filling up a lot of the coffers for OxyContin with Afghanistan poppy fields. I'll leave that. But listen to this.
The last time we talked, they were boastful. They had delighted the American left. The American left said, "Oh, we're losing." Even Joe Scarborough said, "There's been a change in the tempo of the war. I think maybe Iran is on the defensive. And that's what they're doing now. They're all doing that.
Eric Swalwell may also know about other people, etc. So do you think
Yes.
there'll be any pressure to
He-
cut him a deal and keep him out of jail?
Well, it depends on what the DAs are all crooked in New York. We know that
There's
from
stuff
Alvin
here.
Bragg, Latita Jane, the state. They could. He could say, I'm going to do the Solomon strategy and pull the temple down on everybody.
Yes, exactly.
But people did that with Trump.
Yeah.
He said, go ahead and do it. What are you going to say? That I'm an adulterer? I am an adulterer.
Yes,
I've been
but-
married 3 times? Yeah, I am. He didn't care,
But
and
that,
they did it.
yeah, but the difference is here, Swalwell will be pulling down maybe other Democrats, maybe Republicans, because
He
we know
has-
this problem is not.
Well, he better watch
Yeah.
out for his life because Democrats don't fool around.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Wow, that's just the beginning of this. This is some good stuff.
I think maybe
Dropped it in the chat.
Iran is on the defensive. And that's what they're doing now. They're all doing that. And what happened was Iran boasted that we're going to close the Strait and we don't have any Navy, but we're going to do it with a bunch of PT boats. We have no Air Force.
It was all a lie.
And our drone and missile force is 2/3 gone. And if we do any hit an American ship, they're going to wipe out all the power. And Trump said they did it for a day. And everybody said, oh, they hadn't thought of this. United States never, and every military colonel in the world got on TV and said, sorry, we planned this down to the T for 50 years. So these people, I don't know I don't know if they're stupid or they're just malicious or both. But so all Trump did and all administration did was saying, that's a good idea. Close the Strait and let only the good ships come in. But sorry, Iran, you don't have the wherewithal to do that. But we do. So we're going to take your strategy and flip it upside down and let in everybody except your guys. And we, unlike you, can do it. So then this center, the Foundation for the Defense of Democracy is a great organization. And they had some economists, many of them Iranian, who have been publishing these revelations. They said, wait. And Jack and I talked about it. One of them, $430 million in economic damage a day. They're still pumping, and that they can't unload because their storage tanks are about quickly filling up. What are they going to do with the oil? They got to stop pumping. If they stop pumping, it has damage to the oil fields. The regime said they lost $257 billion in munitions.
You're hearing the continent of Europe, Australia, Ireland's already suffering a gas shortage, diesel and oil. You're hearing they're weeks away of shutting down airline traffic from European nations, from the Five Eyes. We're hearing that left and right. Australia, the continent of Europe, Ireland, parts of Canada. They're running dry. What did President Trump say? Hey, look, all you have to do is come in and help us out. Help solidify your position to figure out so you can make sure that your country's viability, plausibility, and stand to gain access where this opportunity to gain at least some prescient moniker of control. So that, did they care? No, they didn't care. They didn't give a shit. They basically thumbed their nose. That's the EU. And NATO is paying for it. And I'm going to be gently polite about it. They're paying for it because the EU bureaucrats are in control. Not the leaders of these shithole countries. Not Macron, not Steimer. Not the Italian broad who's basically just whatever happened to her. Maybe they got naked pictures of her with a Shetland pony. I mean, I don't know. She flipped her script. I don't know what happened to that broad. Maloney, Georgia Maloney, they must have found some baloney in her because that's the only reason that she went all the way off this apple cart. But I digress, and does it matter? Do you really fucking care? No. These people are basically destroying themselves. Trump is showing them the door, and they're walking through it. Bye. Let's continue.
in infrastructure. Most people think if you count the underground tunnel work and the nuclear, et cetera, and the arsenal, it's more like $500 billion. So all of a sudden it was sort of like the elephant in the room was the economy. Everybody knew that. We've been talking that for they're going broke. They have no money. Before the war started, there was hyperinflation. Now their currency is worth nothing. And China doesn't have the wherewithal, strategic or tactical, to force their way in. If one Chinese carrier comes in there, it's going to be met by 3 American carriers, and they're better, much better, the pilots. So my point is...
Didn't a Chinese carrier go through the Strait of Hormuz just right when they...
Carrier?
Oh, you mean
No,
a military?
No.
But one of their ships
One of them
went through,
did
yeah.
right when they were starting, but now we're turning them back. They buy 80% of Iran's oil, so nobody's going to miss it except China.
80%.
So basically what the United States is doing is saying, we're going to control the Strait, and we're going to let anybody who wants to do business with Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Iraq, but not Iran. And Iran's island, Karg Island, where almost 90% of its oil is. You think they were so smart that we'll
seize your ship, we'll confiscate you, we'll arrest you, we will take control. And if you refuse us, we'll blow you out of the water. I mean, it's just beautiful. We're not talking the same blockade that happened in the 60s, although it's not so dissimilar of what Kennedy's blockade was with what Trump is doing here. Obviously, I wouldn't say it's apples and oranges, but it's on the same type of scenario in some way. But when you realize what President Trump does, he made this more inverse. He just flipped the script. He says, you can go through. You just can't dock at their ports. You can't collectively take their oil or transport oil to them. It's just that simple. And if you do that, we got you. And I think that's really the overwhelming or overarching issue. And the fact that China is now being squeezed out. I dropped it in the chat. I don't want to play. It's like, I don't know, it's like over an hour. And I'm not here to play someone else's podcast in some way. Throw a little gift at the can. The problem is these other countries have always depended on the American military. They are weak. We are strong. Yes, we were their what? Their junkyard dog. We were unleashed to do, God knows what we were unleashed to do, by former corrupt presidents that operated out of what? For the corporation and the cabal. We went into countries taking over, deposing people left and right, sovereign countries that we shouldn't have done. I mean, yeah. And look at the world, the fallout from it. We've got nothing to come out of it other than what? That all these countries that have been toppled and deposed, they set up what? Open borders, mass migration. Hey, since your country's gone, we destroyed it. Your economy's shit. Why don't you come to America? Okay, and then pop a squat and then show us what you could do here like you did over there. Senor Polo, gift to the can. Coming in late. I heard Trump is using old naval law to stop any ship carrying Iran oil. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people talking about that. I think someone mentioned it out of the movie about Pope John. Not Pope. I forget the name. I'm sorry. I'll think about it in a second. Let me continue on because I got a couple other things I got to get into. There's a lot of good stuff here. Listen to this. This came out. Peter Ducey says this. I thought this was interesting as I'm playing this right now. Fox News alert. Peter Ducey reports President Trump told CBS News and the Iranian regime they have agreed. Now, we have a couple of days ahead before he travels. Actually, he's going to Islamabad, tomorrow? Maybe. Show up there to sign this, but is it already done? Is he really going to travel there? Is it going to be behind a green screen? What the fuck are we watching? What are we understanding? This is explained why he's so confident a deal is about to be closed with the Iranians. Let's play this.
For a quick trip to Arizona for an event that we'll see later on today. He didn't take any questions, but he just told CBS News. He basically explained why it is that he is so confident a deal is about to be closed with the Iranians. He says that they have agreed to let United States, not troops, just somebody from the United States go in to Iran with some Iranian officials to collect leftover uranium, what he calls the nuclear dust. and then bring it back somewhere to the United States. That has been the key to all of this. The president earlier today disputed a report in Axios that the U.S. might unfreeze $20 billion in Iranian money in exchange for getting them to fork over all this uranium. He says not a dollar will be exchanged in any way. So,
yeah, there was something that was put out by Mediaite, garbage, and many other people saying $20 billion will be released, like Biden released all their oil. We weren't going to give them money. It's their money that we froze up in the accounts that Scott Bessent is doing. Okay? It's the same thing that the Biden administration, Kamala Harris, released to Iran before they dipped out. And so we're not doing that. We're not going to continue to what? Give them back their money. There's going to be some level about how this is going to be articulated out and particulated out, because you can't just free up that money right after this. It looks like a bad deal. Maybe down the line. And maybe you have to control the money to make sure that it's part of the concessions where it goes to rebuild and constitute the country for the people. I can't imagine any amount of anything that is going to be aligned. So the question is, how long is this going to continue on? Don't know. Let's listen to the rest of this.
we will definitely hear more about this once he gets to Arizona, but there's a lot happening, and it is possible that he doesn't want to get ahead of his team who are talking directly to Tehran. Yes, and President...
Okay, so what's your thoughts out there? I mean, any comments, any questions and stuff? You guys been kind of quiet tonight. I don't know where everybody is, but everybody's kind of quiet tonight. Let me see who's here on YouTube. No, I don't see anybody over here tonight. Yeah, I'm surprised. A lot of people over here on Rumble. Good to see everybody. Rosie's gonna bitch, laugh out loud. Metal Mom, hey guys, happy Friday. Yeah, Marshall's out. He's on a gay Tinder date, so it's okay. Or Grinder, as Trusty Term said. So he'll probably be back next week. So it's okay. Don't get all upset. They're like, where's Marshall? Did you fire him? I'm like, fire him? I didn't know he's on a payroll. Wasn't it our money to start with? Exactly. But leader, you're thinking about the money. Look, if we're freezing the banks of their accounts with this and the transfer, yes, part and parcel. The question is what percentage it is ours and what percentage is theirs. It's a good point. I'm not really sure. I really don't understand per se how much of their money is that but we have an opportunity, I guess, because of the old Petro deals that are in place and now everything is changing. So I'm not really sure where this is going to go, but let's put it this way. It's just that they're not going to get anything from us. All right. Everything that's going to be laid out that President Trump is selling, the upside, using optimism and the blockade, will be what? Reconfigured into such a manner that I believe everything will be okay. I'm not worried about it. And I think in some way, while Iran protects its red lines in defending non-negotiable boundaries, they will be allowed to reconstitute their viability before their country crumbles in some way. And you don't want that to happen. You don't want it to happen. You don't want an exodus of all these people just fleeing out. It's the same thing in Cuba I'm going to cover. You don't want Cuba collapsing, and then you have 10 times the Mario boat lift in 1980, flooding the shores of the Key West and Miami. Not going to happen. It'll be blocked off. We're all stocked up on crazy. We don't need any more crazy. Have you seen what happened since the Mario boat lift in the 80s? It was mass murder in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Drugs, shootings left and right. It was all about that. They let the worst out of the worst, and we will see 10 times of that. It will never happen. That's why Trump's like, if you don't do anything, if you don't fix it, and you guys collapse, we'll take you out. And we'll fucking take this motherfucker over. And we don't care about your bloodline. All you fucking people, you get out of our way, or one by one, we'll take you out. I think so. Gay tender date. He comes back after his bunhole. I'm joking, Rudy Poe, but that's funny. But I'm just joking. So he had other plans, so it's okay. Don't worry about it. All right, let me continue on. So much stuff. Yeah, there you go. Alphabet Omega Pill. If anybody sees one of the best movies I've seen in a long time, Scarface, great movie. But that's it. That's exactly the Mario boat lift. That's the exodus of Cuban nationals coming here. I mean, it's died down after a while. You know, a lot of those people died off, been murdered, been killed by their own people, the potentiality and all these different things. But it's different now, but it wasn't different back then. Miami in the 80s was the wild, wild west. It was totally, and all the way up until I'd say early 90s, until RICO Acts and all these other things, until we got a handle on some of this stuff. It was brutal. It was brutal. People getting fucking gunned down. I mean, think about what Chicago is today. That's what Miami was 10 times worse. It was bad. Trump prohibits Israel from striking Lebanon as Netanyahu says the war with Hezbollah is not over yet. Uh-oh. So Darth Sidious over here, Netanyahu's saying, it's not over. He's pounding his chest. There are things we plan to do regarding rocket threat and drone threat, which I will not detail here. Look at this sick, twisted monster. I mean, he's obviously, this is what I mean. When you look at this guy, I mean, he's the emperor. He's Palpatine. You couldn't put a better person to be vilified. He just look at this. President Trump prohibited Israel from carrying out further strikes in Lebanon as Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu warned the conflict with terrorist group Hezbollah was far from over. We will destroy you planet. We will destroy it with our Death Star. Israel will not be bombing Lebanon any longer. They are prohibited from doing so by the USA. President Trump wrote on, enough's enough, he concluded. The post comes as U.S. brokered a 10-day ceasefire. That sounded good. Now, the ceasefire between Lebanon and Israel, these leaders haven't met in like 35 years. Again, that's another peace deal. That's great. Still undercutting that. According to the terms of the ceasefire released by the State Department, Israel retains the right to take all necessary measures in self-defense at any time against planned imminent ongoing attacks. Okay. I'll move out of here. Let me show you a couple other things. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a gold pill. Comments, questions, and concerns. Let's hear your thoughts. I'm answering your questions. I'm surprised no one's coming on. Are you guys all scared? Alphabet Omega Pill with Eric Swalwell. Let's see who's here. Senior Polo. I was thinking about John Paul Jones, naval tactics, but you're also thinking naval tactics from what's taking place from a couple of movies and stuff with the Jack Ryan series and stuff. I think, is that what's being posited out? I'm not sure. I don't know specifically exactly what you're talking about, but I think in some way that the blockade in general and what it is, I've seen this before. We've seen this movie before, and it's not like it's not new, but it seems different. It seems completely different. And I want to show you, after what I just showed you about what's going on with, Netanyahu. This is Israel today.
They stole it from me, Carmine. They took it. That was today.
Today, Junior. They stole it from us. They stole our opportunity to bomb them into the Stone Ages, to kill every woman and child in Lebanon, to obliterate them, to sacrifice them, to drop heifer pigs in there. That's just unbelievable. It's so funny. So Mediaite comes out. So the U.S. officials clarified this. Now, here's the question. Why would they need to clarify that? That's why I'm making a joke about it. We're just covering this right now, and I'm finding a lot of this stuff kind of suspect. U.S. official clarifies Trump's enough is enough post banning Israel from attacking Lebanon. Well, why would you need to clarify it? Axios Barak Ravid. Wonder where that guy's from. Reported on Friday afternoon that a Trump administration official clarified President's earlier social media post prohibiting Israel from bombing Lebanon. The president's ceasefire agreement between Lebanon and Israel clearly states that Israel will not carry out offensive military operations, Mashugana, against Lebanese targets, prefers the right to self-defense. So any type of orchestrated self-defense, planned, imminent, or ongoing attacks, Ravid said for a U.S. official. How convenient. Why not start up a false flag, attack yourself, and then continue on? Because we got to murder as many fucking Lebanese people and babies and children and innocents as we can. The clarification came in reply to Trump's post earlier today in the day, which read the USA will get all the nuclear dust created by our B-2 bombers. No money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form. This deal is in no way subject to Lebanon. Either way, the USA will separately work with Lebanon and deal with Hezbollah 6 situation in an appropriate manner. Israel will not be bombing Lebanon any longer. They are prohibited from doing so. Enough's enough. Okay, so now that we understand the clarification, do you trust Israel? Do you trust Israel to do the right thing? I'm just throwing that out there. Do you trust them? Does it even matter? Does it affect you? Do you really even care? I mean, that's the point. Let's continue on here. All right. This was a good one, and I wanted you to see this because this is amazing. I was blown away by hearing this. But again, Marshall and I talked about this when Putin met with Trump in Alaska. And I think this is the overarching thing. It's not just ending NATO, the EU control, taking over Greenland. It's about creating new partnerships, ending their empire and recreating a new one. The American empire with another stroke of the pen to work with the eagle and the bear to consolidate, to make sure that our same positions are equal and that we carry out the global control, and then China can have the East in some way of maintaining order. Some people like the Nazi world order, chain Nephilim. I say it's ending the NATO New World Order. This is great.
Nicer to Russia is because, and China's freaking out about this, Russia is now willing to start trading on the US dollar again and not in the BRICS currency to join the global market. This would absolutely spell the end of China as we know it. Russia is the last piece of the puzzle to bring China to its knees. And we don't actually have a problem with, we shouldn't have a problem with Russian values. They're people. Putin's a Cold War relic. But beyond the neocons and what they want you to believe because they want to keep sending unaccountable money to Ukraine, we should actually have a relationship with Russia. Very similar values amongst the people. And Trump is willing to gamble 30 cents more at a gallon at the pump for like a few weeks to do that. Again, trust the guy. Oil is still remarkably cheaper right now than it was under Joe Biden. But here's the other side that's not entirely public yet. What's China doing right now? They already know they're not in a position to do anything militarily against us. Opponents of the Iran strike are whining that we're depleting our munition reserves. Well, not nearly as much as China's depleted theirs. This attack showed China 2 things. 1, our military is way stronger than they thought. And 2, China had put a lot of their air defenses, a lot of their resources and weaponry in Venezuela and Iran, and we took it out in a day. The smokescreen of the military might of China was decimated in the first 20 hours.
I think in some way he's partially true. But I can't help to think that, some type of deal or positioning was agreed upon between Xi, Putin, and Trump a long time ago. I mean, I'm not saying a stand-down order. Maybe. I mean, think about it. They were all Iran's allies, and what happened? Where were they? They shit the bed. So the posturing, the theater, all this stuff, was it? Was it a combined effort to totally reconstitute the region, change things up, bring down the Bank of London, the City of London, all these other different, the EU, NATO, all these timeless relics that seem not to die away, that just eat at us whole? I don't know. It's plausible. Maybe one day we'll read about it in the future history books that were written correctly and taught by the proper teachers that are out there that are educated, that speak English, and then maybe we'll get a better positive spin in 10 years. Senior Polo, give the can. I wish they would broadcast Trump's meeting with China. Yeah, it's coming. I don't know if they're going to do it. That's a good point. Why wouldn't they do this? But again, you have to settle the Iran deal before you go to China. So you have to consider that. And also, you have to settle this before Cuba. Yeah, Cuba's coming up, baby. Oh, it's coming up. We're going to talk about it right now. Here's one thing I saw from Axios. Axios had some good articles today. Really good commentary in some way. We got plenty of time because there's no back and forth. The economic outlook just got a bit brighter. I think this is pretty good. There's a lot of positive spin today. And no matter how much they try to, be dogmatic, it's not working. It's not working. They can't get past themselves. The blockage to energy supplies through the Persian Gulf appears to have ended. If it holds, take massive weight off the world economy. Yeah, why it matters. Possibility of prolonged disruption to supply of crude oil, liquefied natural gas, fertilizer, other commodities looks to be off the table. Trump administration strategic move from last weekend, matching Iran's Strait blockade for ships that don't pay a toll with a U.S. blockade. I mean, this is from genius to gambit. I mean, it's just, I just don't know why people are not, looking at it this way. The global economy's outlook for remainder for this year is heavily dependent on the outlook for the energy supplies throughout the Strait. I mean, we're down in the 80s right now. Oil speculation and other things are trading at. Will it go back? Will it revert back to $50, $60? Trump said possibly go down lower. Maybe. I mean, they made a shit ton of oil, a shit ton of money on this stuff. So we'll see where this goes. But if it reverts back or it goes back to a lower denomination and stuff, distributions and funds and other things, this could go even higher in the sense of that the price gouging all over the place with this new resolution could take things even to another level. Iran's foreign minister said that in the light of the ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon, the passage for all commercial vessels through the Strait of Hormuz is declared completely open. Yeah. In the initial weeks after the U.S. and Israel decapitated Iran leadership, Iran's blockage of the Strait worked as a strategic advantage, giving it leverage over the global economy. Continue with that. In effect, Iran was able to exact a toll on friendly countries that were in desperate no longer. Events of last week show that two can play the game with the U.S. threat against ships, both sides' ability to inflict economic pain. The U.S. is being very smart about the blockade. It dangles prospects of peace to markets which caps oil prices, which I said. This is selling the upside with optimism. The blockade to box Iran in permanently and to influence the markets and oil prices, to control it, to make sure the magic wand is in place, to wield it in such a way that you will be back to where we were in another couple of months. Strategists can debate whether there has been a lasting achievement of U.S. geopolitical goals, but at least the odds of a global economic slowdown look to be reduced. Okay, that's what I was trying to show you with the Kalishi that was out there. They said about 60-80% of where we're seeing of the betting and the marketing is going to go up, that these numbers will drop significantly. We'll be back to where we were midsummer, and the Cuba deal will solidify our position in the world. I believe Cuba, and we've been talking about it on the show, Marshall and I, and for weeks now, I believe that the Cuba deal and how this deal is going to be somehow rectified in a lot of different ways will change our country drastically. The world will see President Trump completely in a different light, because everybody and anybody had fought about communism during that time frame. No matter what it is now, we'll have to look about this. This is something of a symbolic gesture as a genuflect, a tip of the hat. They've recoiled, they've surrendered, and the dawn of a new age is coming. Not for them only, but for the region, for the people of Cuba, for America. It's been a thorn in our side for a long time, and this is going to change a lot of stuff. It's going to open up industries. It's going to open up hotels, real estate, energy, oil. It's going to open up sectors that you've never heard of before. It really will. And I think in some way, most people need to wrap their heads around it, because if you think the Iran thing was massive, because and when you really break it down in all contrast, Iran, this was big because this was a war that was going on since the 70s. 50-year war, another 50-year war ended, that they capitulated. We won. We finally won because President Trump was strong. He had strength. He had the balls to do it. He had the leadership to take it down. He wanted to do this. He did it. I don't know why anybody's bitching and moaning. Brett, did you see Steve Bannon as a part of Essential Casting? He directed a few shows for Seinfeld. I looked into it. I saw that. I will cover that very soon. I just didn't have enough time to really get into that, but I did see that, and I want to go over this right now before we move on. I got a lot of stuff to go into. Like, share, and subscribe. Drop us a comment, questions, whatever, your thoughts. I dropped the actual stream. If you want to come in and ask me questions personally, be my guest. Come on in, and it's a call in as well. Help us out on Pilled. Help us out on Rumble. Let's hear your thoughts. Let's go. President Trump tells NATO, take a hike, paper tiger. Now, he was saying this in a lot of ways. But now the crisis resolved that Iran has declared the Strait open and oil flowing. NATO picks up the phone and asks if they can help again. Why? Why do they want? They want some type of control. They want to be involved in some way. And President Trump said he knows exactly why he feels about NATO's sudden assistance and resistance. All right. He goes, now that he moves the Strait open, I received a call from NATO. Because now they want something. Because they know that, hey, look, we have an opportunity to make a deal. We want to be there for you right now because you did all the heavy lifting, which is what we do all the time. And he's like, let that sink in from a president of the United States told most of the powerful military alliance in history, stay away unless they want to fill up their gas tanks while they're at it. Yeah, at our ports. And then what? Pay us. And frankly, can you blame them? No! This has been building for weeks. When Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz back in early March, it sent global oil prices through the roof. They are scared. These countries are running. They're in deep shit. Air travel in these regions might be shut down because of gas lines, gas shortages. It's now time you see what we went through in the fucking 70s. It's now time that we puppeteer out what we can control. And maybe, you know what? You feel our pain. The United States stepped up. The Navy deployed full blockade operation. American forces worked alongside Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Qatar will be what? The new UN, the new peace board, as the UN goes bye-bye. But NATO, the alliance, America has poured trillions of dollars in over the decades. All right, so let me see if I have this here. I got to click on one of these things. Let me see. Holy crap. All right, here it is.
Trillions and trillions of dollars on NATO. And when I asked them to get involved on a much smaller situation, which is Hormuz and Iran, they weren't there for us. Remember what I said. They weren't there. None of them. They weren't there. So we were there on Ukraine. I mean, we shouldn't have been. It would have never happened if I were president. But nevertheless, when they've had problems over the years, we were there. When we asked them to get involved on a very minor skirmish by comparison to what it could be, they weren't there. So I don't think they'd be there for a large skirmish. And therefore, I think they've got themselves a problem.
They got themselves a problem because he knows what the problem is. If they would have participated in this in some way and showed that they had some type of, let's just say, viability, you know, they had balls. But they don't, because the 4 or 5 controlling enterprises, Italy, France, Germany, England, Great Britain, I think there's another one. They're involved in the EU cartel. They're all involved with extorting us, blackmailing us. And that's why President Trump is like, I knew you weren't going to come here because you're all part of the system that backs Iran as a proxy that allows us to be fungible. And so you sit back and recoil, and then you say, oh, well, we're here now to help out. Why? Because you're told to do that by the EU, by your handlers, by the cabal controllers. Trump knows. But again, I fast forward and I digress this whole scenario because it does not matter. All it shows is that what the Iran war was about was threefold. That Cold War relics like NATO and the UN are useless. They don't work. And they will be systematically deconstructed. The second part of this is that Iran's proxy control of certain groups of terrorist organizations and their actual what? Puppet masters, which are the EU bloc, the EU cabal in some way, no longer have their back, no longer have any type of power to wield. President Trump cut that off. And third, and lastly, in some way, that the new peace board that will be in place will be offered to Iran if they want to stay relevant, prosperous, and decent. That's where we are. That's exactly where we are. And you might have to put up and pony up $1 billion to be a part of something that's going to be amazing. That's where I see things, ladies and gentlemen. I really do. All right, moving on. There's a couple other things as we go forward. Observing consciousness. If you haven't read this guy's post or gal's post, I don't know if it's a male or female, so I don't want to be pedantic about it, but puts out some good stuff. We talked about it on Wednesday. Signal is clear. Donald Trump, now that the Hormuz Strait situation is what? Is over. I received a call from NATO asking if we would need some help. I told them to stay away unless they just want. And this is part of what I'm saying. We are spending hundreds of billions of dollars a year on NATO. This is a thorn in my side. I don't like NATO. I've never liked NATO.
And what
I
it
understand
means if
control
they're not there
of
for
what
us
NATO
here, they're
is.
not going to be there for us. So why are we spending hundreds of billions of dollars a year on NATO if they're not going to be with us? If they're not going to be with us on Iran, they're not going to be with us on a much bigger subject than Iran. NATO was not there for us. And what it means...
I think in some way what President Trump is demonstrating through this, he's being so vocal in so many different ways that not only that his bellicose, contentious, truculent, and pugnacious attitude, not through public declarations and statements to maximize pressure in Iran with the blockade, he's doing so simultaneously throughout in Europe with the Five Eyes and NATO. He's doing this. He's precipitating a storm discussion. He's making sure that people understand is that how the narrative is now being, let's just say, developed, parsed out. It will be seen through the eyes of many that your failure to be a part of something bigger and better, to work with us and unify us to bring down Iran and to change the trajectory of the global markets and the economies to secure it will only undercut their viability, because their viability was what? Controlling Iran. So I think 4 or 5 of the EU countries, or maybe other people that are EU control cabal, are going to be seen as now what? Weak, dogmatic, and failures. Not because they let down NATO, that this whole thing was a prop. It was agitprop. It was propaganda. They were never going to be there for us in any way, shape, or form. We were being what? Utilized to attack countries and blow things up through the Vatican, CIA, all these different entrails, entities, to what? To do everything, move mountains for them because they're weak and feckless. It's no longer. You could see this. And you know what? Don't travel to their countries. Don't give them your money and your wealth. These countries are not safe to begin with. Don't waste your time. I'm not setting foot in France. Fuck them. I hope they have a revolution. UK, they're fucking going to have a civil war. Italy was on the right track. I mean, I don't know what happened with, Georgia Baloney. I mean, they found a baloney in our pocket or somewhere else. So that's basically why she is flipped. Don't look up to the can. There's so much going on behind the scenes. We're not privy to all the details, but shit's happening. I mean, shit happens all the time. It rolls downstream, and we're the ones picking up the stuff, we're the ones, and we're actually the ones trying to figure out what the hell is going on, where many people are oblivious what's going on. Okay, let me continue on. But it seems to me in some way that I think the train wreck that is happening all over the place, that is NATO and EU, and President Trump is solving all these problems, that's what people are seeing. They're like, what's the UN? Why is the UN even there? When does the UN go bye-bye? When does their lease expire? When do the flags come down? That's what I want to see. We want to understand how we fast forward this movie to get to this point rather quickly. Okay? Here we go. So I'm going to move on. I don't want to get into so much stuff. Spying on Americans. Well, since 9/11, I have to tell you right now, 702s, you got to think about Patriot Act. You got to think about Department of Homeland Security, garbage agency, corrupt to its tilt. I don't know if the new DHS secretary is going to fix it. I don't even fucking care anymore. I fucking hate that agency. I hate everything it represents. And now he goes out, Mark Wayne Mullen, saying, well, we have a new way of doing immigration and new way of doing all this stuff. Can we just pause and bring back Kristi Noem and her fake big tit husband? I mean, what the fuck are you talking about? I mean, I don't know what he's talking about. They're doing things under the darkness of night. We don't want to make it so permeable in the light so people freak out and it becomes so contested. Okay, I get it. You want to do more clandestine operations. You want it to be so in your face. But how do we show the American public that these things are articulating out in such a manner? How do we see this? We don't know. We're trusting you. We're trusting the numbers. I don't know. I mean, I'm very skeptical about how I view removing all this third world scum in our country. They just voted to keep 350,000 temporary permanent status of Haitian cannibals in our country. I think Marshall's out on a Tinder date with one of them. Yeah, we'll see if he comes back alive. I digress. But, but that's okay. He had one guy murder one woman in Fort Myers with a fucking hammer. You can't hate these people more than anything else in the world. If I had an opportunity to go back to the 90s, still living in the Matrix without this violence, would you? Or do we have to just saddle through with it, break through with this, and just fight our way through this nonsense? Because very soon I'll be talking about vigilantism. I'll be talking about the fact is that we need to start to utilize, we need to come together and start executing people. Yeah, I think so. I'm not talking about shooting out people in the streets. I'm talking about doing your due diligence, finding these people and executing them. Cops are not going to do it. Courts let them out. If Mark Wayne Mullen was smart enough, he would keep his mouth shut, and maybe we sent up a hit squad of bounty hunters, as Kristi Noem talked about, and let them do the justice, pay them out. We don't fucking remove them. We just execute them. Throw them in the fucking Everglades. We're already redoing it right now. Push them out of an airplane. I'm so done with these people. So done with these people. Marshall's love for Somalis is legendary. I know, you're so funny, Trusty Turner, because you get it. You get it. That's why you get the commentary. Yes, the street justice is coming to a theater near you. It has to be. The Haitians are smart enough to hate the Clintons. Well, yeah. Look what the Clintons did to Haiti. You know what I'm saying? And now Haiti's what? It's a frazzle drip country. Hillary Clinton showed them the way. FISA spy powers vote, a late night train wreck on the House floor. This happened the other night, and I have to tell you right now how I feel about this, because I'm really just disgusted. A band of House Republicans joined Democrats in blocking an attempt to extend the federal government's authority to surveil foreigners data without a warrant in the wee hours of Friday morning. Are you okay with that? With the failure of the House floor, the White House and the House leadership efforts to maintain an intelligence program they consider important for national security has hit a speed bump. The chamber instead opted to pass by a unanimous consent a short-term extension by April 30th. The source of controversy is Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which has long been criticized by House Republicans and Democrats, which argue it's prone to abuse and has resulted in the surveillance of American citizens, whose data is mixed with that of foreigners. I don't think anybody here on this platform can deny that truth. Look at President Trump and what it was used against him. But President Trump has publicly called on Republicans to unify and vote together on the test vote to bring a clean extension to the floor. What would it bring a clean extension to the floor? And why would President Trump want to do this? Because he's going to use this to what? Go after his what? His enemies, and also all the other people that are outside our country that want to do us harm. Okay. However, the House could not come to a long-term agreement. See, the sticking point in the mud about this is it between us and who controls it? And what is it used for? Or is it something else? Chip Roy foretold the flop early on. He's leaving for AG of Texas, saying a clean extension ain't going to move on the floor due to his disagreement. Republicans crafted a year extension due to the late night following talks with Republicans who demanded reforms. The original plan was to pass an 18-month extension. Okay. The deal included new language meant to prevent federal government from targeting Americans' data without a warrant. Well, wasn't that written in the books last time? As well as introducing fines for unauthorized search for Americans. How will that look out for Kleinsmith and many other people at the FBI? Some were fired, some came back. Information allowing members of Congress to access intelligence court proceedings. Congress also has a short-term memory because, you have FBI agents and intelligence agencies spying on them. And they want to what? Do they want to admit they want to block this in some way? The House rejected this amended version 200 to 220. Democrats were almost unanimous, obviously, while 12 Republicans voted against it and 9 did not vote. Well, that's called chicken shit liver. As Representative Warren Davidson, Ohio, a FISA critic, described, some felt the amended version was a massive reform that would make FISA unworkable, while others felt it did nothing of substance. Raskin, the top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, rallied his party against the 5-year deal in a speech on the House floor shortly before midnight. You have to think in some way why all the Democrats did vote for this. Are they concerned that there's so many different skeletons in their closet from an outside peripheral that the 702s can come after them and wanted to peek and look into what they're doing outside the country as they infiltrate the country and also try to take the country down? That's key to this. This is appalling. Some Kafkaesky said, process leading to an absurd or Orwellian result. Raskin said, this is scrapple. It's scrapple with dog food. They say you shouldn't look to see how the sausage is made. This isn't even sausage. This is scrapple. It's scrapple with dog food mixed inside of it. Okay, whatever that means. Raskin objected, extending the FISA all the way to 5 years, as well as the fact that reforms such as warrant requirements would not immediately go into effect, calling the warrant reforms illusionary band-aid that they are putting on this process. After killing a 5-year deal, the House rejected a procedure measure to move the consideration of the original bill 197 to 228. Finally, the chamber voted by unanimous consent to push the expiration date and break for the weekend. Yeah, a bunch of fucking hypocrites. So let me know what your thoughts about the 702s. It's been used to spy on us, the American public, American citizenry. It was used against President Trump, the Russia thing. It was used against many different people in a lot of different ways. Do you believe that are you going to side with the Democrat? Do you really think the Democrats, and consider this, are the ones trying to be the most, let's just say, cultured and learned and let's put obvious sentinels that want to oversee the FISA powers were not getting what? All right. Untethered like it did with Russia. See, they had no problem at that time. They had no problem with the FBI, CIA, many intel agencies going off the rails to what? Go after President Trump, as D&I Gabbard is going to lay out. A lot of people are going to go to jail for this. But see, it was fine back then. But now all of a sudden, the 702s that could be used as an inverse to flip the script on people like them that are working outside the peripheral of our country, yeah, that's not going to work well. And why did what? With 12 to 18 Republicans join into this in some way? You have to consider how many of these people are bought and paid for. How many of these people are problematic? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the chat. You guys have been kind of quiet. What's your thoughts about this? Maybe I should have did a poll about this. Let's see who's there. Laugh a lot, hopefully. You got lucky. Oh, that's a man. Dude, leave Marshall alone. I'm just joking around. Yeah, dude, he's, he had other plans. They're not to be trusted again. Yes, I got you. You guys are mean. You guys are mean. Meanies. You're the devil. All right, moving on. Just make jokes. And you guys are brutal. Oh, James, what's up? Hey, Brett, how you doing? Thank you for always going live and awesome. Yeah, no problem. Who else is there? Linda Perino. Why do they blame the cop over the criminal? Yeah, they always blame the cop over the criminal. Someone's here. Someone's calling in. Let's see who it is. Well, Owl Eyes called in. Your device is not connected. So if you connect your device, Owl Eyes, I can get to you. I'm watching you. Private eyes are watching you. So if you want to join the stream, you want to get in and stuff, connect your device and we'll get to it. All right, moving on. All right, so here we go. We're going to do a couple of things. I'm going to get the True Terrence commentary about what he wanted to talk about the stuff, but I just want to go over the Pope stuff real quickly, which is the pageantry and the faggotry of all this. Trump administration pulls millions in funding for Catholic charity supporting mass migration. Absolutely, as he should. The critics argue the taxpayer funding program was encouraging illegal immigration, providing free services for unaccompanied migrant children who were found abandoned at the border. They're part of the trafficking organizations. They're paid out NGOs. And you know what? You should not support these relevant entities. And the bottom line is, let's put it this way. Catholic charities, the Pope, the Vatican, are all part of, let's just say, a deviated plot to make you look over here, when over here, they're doing things that are so satanic, so pagan, it's disgusting, and I'm just over it. I'm just over all of this. And I'm embarrassed in some way that I was a Catholic a long time ago. I was an altar boy. I believed in the shit. I did. I believed in it until I grew up, and I realized as I got older, had opinions of my own. College didn't change me. I was still conservative for a long time. I dealt with a lot of liberals in going to college. I went to one and then I transferred to another, and the one I transferred to, but I have to tell you, yeah, there is something there that, you want to have something, you want to believe, you want to have that. It entices you to have this. But the dogmatic scriptures and the discussions and hear these people talk, these priests and all these other people that say things, and you're like, what did you just say? It's like, I'm done. I don't need this anymore. I need to find a way to have more of a controlled level of, I don't know, interactive viability with my God. It can't be going to church. I did it and it didn't work. And I'm okay with people going to all these different churches, non-denominational, going to Protestant, youth, Lutheran. Do whatever you got to do. I am not going to stop you. I'm only speaking in the context of what I went through and the pain I suffered and the things I saw. And so I have to tell you that It has nothing to do with my point, and I'm never going to tell you what to do, how to think, and what to feel. Do it on your own. I just had to do things different for me. So Dr. Steve Turley puts it out. He's right. Pope Leo the 14th has not specifically and directed and denounced Iran's regime for killing its own citizen, engaging in mass execution of protesters, and yet has no problem openly denouncing Trump for securing the border, while the Catholic charities are in what? The opposite fashion. Typical third worldist shill bullshit. President Trump today, laying it out.
Well, tell that to the Pope. What did you say? Tell that to the Pope.
Stick it in his hat.
That Iran is going to. Did you just hear that? Iran is going to execute 4 people, including a woman?
He also said, he's like, I got no problem with the Pope. I like the brother. He's a MAGA guy. You know, apparently he got some bomb scare and stuff. Thank you, Theo, for the 369 gold pills. Wood USA dropping 717 gold pills. Need more gold pill love. Support the stream. Let's fucking go. Good to see you, Senior Pole. Get to the cam. All this exposure is like watching a murder trial with video evidence, mittens to the crime, etc. And then judge says, okay, everybody just go home now. That's funny. Yeah. It's kind of like something out of it's what, Murder by Death. Have you seen that 1979 classic, 78 was it 70s classic? Go watch it. Go watch it. Murder by Death. It's a mystery comedy thriller. A lot of great actors in that. I don't want to. It's a Neil Simon play off Broadway that was made a movie. I thought it was funny. True Taryn, thank you for the $20 Rumble Rant. Always there supporting the stream. Love you, brother. Happy Friday. Yes, happy Friday to you and everybody out there. Let's continue on. All right, let me move this up because of the time frame. I'm not cutting this stuff, but I just want to do this. But I do want to discuss Castro. I want to discuss, I believe, something of the most utmost importance, because I believe in some way this is massive. This is going to be massive, and everything that is changing, you're going to see it inside the historic U.S.-Cuba negotiations in Havana. The U.S. delegation is offered to help restore internet services by setting up Starlink satellite services. All right. Why it matters? Well, the meeting last Friday itself marks a diplomatic breakthrough through its first time U.S. government plane has touched down since President Obama visited a decade ago. I wonder what went on there. In an effort for rapprochement. Okay. This time, Cuba is now closing. Basically, it's just rapprochement is a surrender, a defeat, a walking it all back. The time Cuba is now closer to societal collapse than ever. President Trump is in office with Secretary Marco Rubio, and they're far less inclined to make concessions. They're not making concessions here. They're demanding principled negotiations, and they want them to acquiesce to that fashion. A senior department official told Axios that multiple meetings took place with a lot of people and participants, except for Raul Guillermo Rodriguez Castro. Well, that's a mouthful. The grandson of Castro. Look, these dynasties, these destinies, whatever they have, they need to be deposed. You need a real leadership. You need a new governor, because let's face it, if we are to take over this island, there's not going to be the grandson of Castro. There's not going to be any of this. It's going to be ruled under another U.S. authority, and that's going to be controlled under a governorship. Known as Raulito, nicknamed El Cangrillo, the crab. Yeah, that's great. The younger Castro is seen as by the U.S. as a de facto spokesman. Yeah, that's wonderful. U.S. officials impressed upon the Castro regime that Cuban economy is in a free fall, and the island's ruling elites have a small window. See, the small window of elites realize that the end is near. The end is nigh. And they're going to dip out. But for the rest of the people in some way, they're going to made to what? Put them on a boat, put them on life rafts, and send them out to the shores, to the Key West, 90 miles north of them. And so what? We could take these people in because of our policies. But no longer are those policies are going to what? Fill the bill. Aside from the offer of Starlink access and discussion of Cuba's need to reform its economic and governing system, the State Department officials also reiterated long-standing U.S. policy to help eliminate the Cuban embargo. Compensating U.S. residents and corporations whose Assets and properties were confiscated in the 59 revolution, the release of political prisoners, and ensuring Cuban people greater political freedoms, which would eventually include free and fair elections. Okay. Bottom line, without directly threatening the Cuban officials, the U.S. made it clear that Trump's government will not allow a disaster to occur on the island 90 miles south of Key West. Trump is committed to pursuing a diplomatic solution, if possible, but will not let the island collapse into a major national security threat. Think about that. Understand what a major national security threat is. That the fall of Cuba could entice, create an enterprise of criminals, terrorists, and many different groups 90 miles off the shores of Florida that can some way seize power, gain access to weapons, and then threaten us in such a way. It cannot happen. It will not happen. They will be deposed. They will be liberated. The change is happening, and we won't see a Mario boat lift. President Trump understands that. He recognizes it. Not going to happen again. You know, today on April 17th, 1961, is the anniversary of the Bay of Pigs, if you understand your history. How coincidental we're talking about this right now. All right, I digress. Let's move on. Here's Hannity. Here's another Catholic boy who walked away, maybe because he had an affair, but he spent years with this dogmatic religion like I did. I went to Catholic school for 12 years. I went to Catholic school for 7 years, I'd say. I attended a seminary in high school. I didn't. I studied theology. I didn't. I studied philosophy in college and other religious philosophies. I left the Catholic Church in large part of the institutionalized corruption. I feel the same way. Others at the Vatican have totally lost sight of the true meaning of the Bible. I believe they're a pagan institution that have now come full tilt and embracing heretical and theocratical dispositions that are not, let's just say, in unison, in concert with the Bible, and the teachings are off the rails. And I believe that what we're seeing right now is a different Catholicism. I mean, it started, with the previous Pope. I think that we've lost our way, and now this Pope, who is apparently I didn't know the Vatican or this Pope personally supported millions of dollars towards Kamala Harris, and we're supposed to be like, are we shocked in some way? Walking away from the Catholic Church is probably the best thing you can do. I'm not saying walk away from Jesus Christ, but they're the farthest enterprise of Jesus Christ. Let me tell you that right now. And I could say that wholeheartedly because I was part of it.
Now, I do want to shift gears with a message to the Vatican tonight, specifically to Pope Leo, who has openly condemned America's war in Iran while seemingly enjoying a public fight with President Trump. First, let me give some context. Like millions of Americans, I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school for 12 years. I even attended a seminary in high school, studied theology, Latin, went to Mass daily. I got a lot out of it. My parents, they were devout Catholics. And while I was
Dude, you guys are too funny. Marshall on Grindr and sausage on Tinder. How did he fag? Yeah. Come on, you guys are fucking hilarious. Speaking of Tinder, I'm getting bombed by so many chicks right now. Oh my god. Oh my god, you guys are fucking All right, I gotta play this because I gotta listen to this Hannity fact.
wasn't particularly engaged at the time in the teachings of the Catholic Church. As a young person, it certainly entered my consciousness and made me a better person. And it's been a positive force in my life in so many ways. But as of today, I no longer consider myself a Catholic. And while I am a Christian, I left the Catholic Church in large part because of institutionalized corruption. And it was at the parish level, to the bishop level, cardinals, all the way to Rome. And, the very top scandals, terrible behavior, frankly, went.
I think He's 100% correct. We have somebody coming in here. Roger. Hello, Roger. What's up?
Hey, what's going on there? Listen.
What's going on?
I was going to
Rudy
call
Poo.
earlier.
All right, I see you. I see you, Rudy Poo. So
Yeah.
let me ask you a question. Let me pause a minute. Were you able to get on easily? Because a lot of people tell me that because when I send the StreamYard out, all you have to do is when it sends you an email, you just send it back to yourself and click on it. Was it easy or did you have a problem?
All right. Well, I'm using Rumble.
Right.
And so I went up to the head of the, when you first posted it, when your show started, I clicked on it.
Yeah.
And basically it was saying, allow the camera.
So it was that simple. Okay,
yeah,
good.
In the mic.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I clicked that, which I was doing this earlier, so I'm behind probably 40 minutes.
Okay.
On the show, I was talking with my mother, and anytime me and my mom get on the phone, we're on for about an hour. So when I called,
it's kind of like that when you get older. I know. I'm like that with my mom too, and dealing with stuff. It's like I'm 53, so when I go through that thing, it's like it's like we're always I guess you get to that certain point when you're younger. You just
so listen. This is the first time I did it, and it was simple. It was like 3 clicks, and then bam, there you were.
Right.
So,
what's your thoughts tonight? So I just want to get an idea because some people tell me it's not. They tell Marshall it's not. But I asked StreamYard to help me manage it in some way, and he goes, they're going to put a whole thing out there, and then I'll be able to drop that with the actual StreamYard leak. So, what's your thoughts tonight? What's going on?
Well, seeing how I'm about 40 minutes behind on the show. Earlier in the show, you were talking when I wanted to get in, and then my mother called. This Iran deal. A lot of people say 3D, 4D, 5D chess. We literally never know about Trump. And I don't know enough, so I keep my mouth shut. I don't know what's going on. And the mainstream state media will do everything in their power to destroy Trump. But it looks like, and I know it's not him, it's his team. The way that they're going about these things are totally different than Bush got us into Iraq, or the Iraq War. And this is totally different. And I'm telling you something. I honestly believe when Trump walks into a room, let's say it's with war, it's not every room, and he walks up to a table and he pulls his balls out and throws them on a table, and he says, everybody come challenge me. If this goes through like the way Trump wants us to go through, we're witnessing, and I hate to use the word greatness, and I don't want to use that for Trump. I want to use.
How come you don't want to use that for Trump?
Yeah, I want to use it for his team.
Okay.
We're witnessing something that America's always had.
Which team are you referring to? The team that we see that's right in front of us, or there's a team
to his
behind
cabinet?
Okay.
To Rubio, Department of War, the generals that he has in place now.
Okay.
We're witnessing something that America's always had the power to do, but wouldn't do it because, and I don't know who the deep state is, but there are people that controls our government and every other government. And I think he's trying to take the whole system down. And I think he's trying to take China down with this. And I do honestly believe that you take a billionaire that didn't need to do this. And if this doesn't work, when he's done, him and his family are all going to go to jail.
Or worse.
Yeah. In the deep state, and like I say, I don't know who that is, but I just pray for him. I pray for Trump every day. I pray for, and one of the simple things I pray for is for the Lord to show the people kindergarten style. In other words, show the people the way you would show me how corrupt our government is. They could care a rat's ass.
How many people do you think are comfortable realizing and recognizing at the moment from a percentage basis that see how corrupt our institutionalized system is?
Well, I've been paying attention to politics and talk shows since 1989. And now we have our talk shows now are vast compared to them because we only had radio back then. And now we got people like you and Red Pill and I still listen to local radio. I've paid attention to it through talk radio since '89, and I'm still learning. Some of the things I actually feel like an idiot. I thought George W. With Iraq was a good thing. Whenever he got on the stage and says, we've got to fight them over there instead of keeping them from coming over here and fighting here. And now Biden and them opened the borders.
Obama
They're here.
did it first, and then and then Trump came in, blocked it because they wanted to steal the deal, and then Biden after they stole that election. Yeah, I mean, but you're made to see how these impasses are in some way. I mean, they're all part of the same team. They're not separate in some way. They just do it. They come at it from different facets in some way. They weaken all these other countries. And when you destroy all these other countries, what do? Is you get the next guy come in here and say, hey, we're an open country. Come in and resettle here and then reconstitute here. And then we'll give you all this free shit after we destroy your country. And then you'll be fine. I mean,
as far as a percentage of people in America, the average voter that knows what's going on, I'm going to say is probably less than 10%. And, you listen to Fox News, they're not going to.
I agree. I'm not arguing. I would say that there's a lot of people in general are just not going to make it when the shit hits the fan. And I think that's greater than 10%. That's my opinion. And
no, I'm talking about.
You also have to couple in between the 365 million minus the 60 to 100 million that are in this country illegally that we still don't know. Okay. And I those are high projections. And then everything else that's left over, take the percentage off of that of people that are awake, aware, conscious, and have any type of relevant, let's just say, feelings about subject matter that they can copious discuss on a platform like this or in general.
Yeah. And I'm in South Carolina. South Carolina, I've learned in the past 2 years. Before then, I always thought, hey, we're a red state. After paying attention in the past 2 years, South Carolina is not, on paper, we're a red state. But most of the legislatures in the House and the Senate here are Democrats with an R next to their name. Mm-hmm. So when I'm saying I honestly believe there's a deep state that runs everything. They run the wars. They run everything. All these countries that weren't helping Trump, but now they're willing to help Trump. I think they're all controlled. And I honestly believe that a billionaire like Trump that doesn't need this and who's lost wealth by doing this he's virtually trying to take down the deep state. And whoever that is, I don't know. I mean, I'm just a blue collar.
Well, I think that you will find out the more and more people that will be prosecuted, that bubbles through what's going on in Fort Pierce, what's going on in Miami and Daytona. There's many different qualitative lawsuits that are going, and we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens to James
Yeah,
Comey and other people. I will say this though, and I want to be clear about this. You need to. It's not about who they are, what they are. Okay, I mean, you could say, was Eric Swalwell part of the deep state? Well, he was controlled, blackmailed, cajoled. He was part of a system that they knew that he was a loose cannon. He was a predator. He was this. He was that. He was many different things that they accepted him in the party and said, look, no problem. Let us basically take pictures of you. Let's just, do everything you can. And simultaneously, we'll allow you to do whatever you can to break the law, commit all this disgusting, touchy-feely, rapey, whatever, sexual predator nature, and then we'll protect you. But you will toe the line going forward. And that's how, people say, well, that's AIPAC completely. Maybe so. But look, the bottom line is that's generally how intelligence operations work. They control you. So whether it's coming from an intelligence operation or the actual Democrat Party that runs in unison, that they're completely a controlled opposition under some coordination of a CIA unit or a dark, nefarious intelligence op that basically runs these people as predators and operators because they're all under the thumb, and so they can do and say willy-nilly what they want. I mean, look, our institutions completely, as we see it right now, as defined, are defunct, and they all have to go. I would say almost 90% of everybody inside and outside. And look, what happened with 2020 with the lawsuits and everything, and we have to consider that there are many facets that are in place that could whitewash a bastion of these people away very soon. So I'm not giving up hope. I don't recoil to the fact of what I see is that all it is that the expose of what Swalwell was and many other people in particulars, as Anna Polina Aluna pointed out, which I'm not a fan of because she's a shekel higher for Israel. But I will say she is right about one thing, is that these people are the controlled opposition that you can conform to as deep state. That's what I agree with.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I just pray. I pray all the time. I don't know all the answers. I just pray that it's opened up to where we see it. If I can see it kindergarten style, then the average citizen who really doesn't give a rat shit about voting, that's what I want. If they can see it, and this is a big thing. If this can happen, and we can take back America to where the overlords aren't doing the puppet strings, is for me. It's hard for me to explain it, but I think you understand where I'm coming from. We're
totally
on the
get
same
it.
wavelength.
I
know that
totally get it about what I feel.
We know that there's people controlling things, and there's people that are controlling our Congress and our Senate. We just don't know who they are, and we've got to break that.
No. How that's going to look, though, in the future is going to be really interesting, and how these people are going to individually break by their own, let's just say, decoupling what's happening in Congress, or by a great, let's just say, few chosen that are going to ostracize these people and put these people on blast. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I'm disgusted about all these people, and I don't believe Nancy Pelosi or any of these people. Look, there's no Democrat. I look at it this way: every Democrat you can't trust, and I would say almost 90% of all the Republicans in the House are garbage. Okay, I
say 98.
Okay, all right. So you say all Democrats, and then 98% of Republicans. Okay,
I'm gonna say 98%
out of that. Out of the 435, that would be about less than 10 to 12.
And we've got to break that. And
Right.
I don't know how we do it. But,
Okay.
If we don't do it now, we have
Right.
a person that's the president of the United States that honestly believe that he wants to break this. If we can't do it now, we never will be able to.
No, I know. I think he's doing it now. I think. I mean, I've never given up the idea. the Iran war, about a lot of things, about like not doing this, and then seeing and how this is, and standing with him and fighting against it. I mean, I always say that. I mean, there are talking points that I like from Tucker Carlson, but of recently, him, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and all these other people that are from the right and to the left that have duplicitously attacked him, and now he's turned out to be what? Completely exonerated. And I don't think you needed to showcase that what he has done and what he's about to finish and move on to the next thing. No one's going to pay attention anymore. I think all the bloviating about the bellicose arguments about he did this or this, that. See, I was laughing because the article I was talking about, Lindsey Graham, was discussing and saying, I would have loved to have been on that other end and hearing what he was saying, supposedly to the IRGC or to the heads of Iran. I will skull fuck you into oblivion. I mean, the guy is off his chain. And so, creating the madman theory and operating under that in some way, in that edict, to me is just, I mean, we're never going to get another president that operates in this manner. And I think we should enjoy every moment of it and appreciate what we have, because what we have will no longer be in the next several years. I'm telling you, it's not going to be the same. All right. Unless maybe another Trump is involved with the presidency. And I'll be honest with you. I said, you manage your expectations like Iran is doing. You downplay and underpromise your scenarios about the future, about what you think. That's what we're seeing with all these people that are working on both sides, the woke right, the woke left in some way. But I think the problem that we're facing, the umbrella problem that we're facing in some ways, is that people still get entrapped and sucked into the noise. And that's why I tell people all the time, let it go. Let it go. Don't get involved. Who cares what this guy's saying? Who cares what that's saying? Don't worry.
I appreciate the podcasters like you. And your old sidekick, I used to listen to a good bit.
Who's that?
Thomas.
He's around. He's
in South Carolina with me.
He's in Greer.
Yeah, and I'm in Taylor's, which is next door to Greer.
I just talked to him today. He's okay. He's just, he's dealing with his death of his father and his grandmother in a month. The poor guy, he reaches out to me and I talk to him, and
so he's probably a 29651 or 29650 zip code. I'm a 29687, so I'm right next door.
Yeah.
But the podcasters, and one of the things I appreciate with you, well, you're sharp with the tongue, but unlike the mainstream media and Fox and them, they'll take something and just jump on it. Where on the podcasters that I listen to, which I listen mostly to you and Red Pill and the X22, y'all don't jump on something and just say, okay, you've got to give, especially with Trump, for God's sakes, with Trump, you've got to give him a week.
Mm-hmm.
He says whatever it's the art of the deal.
Yeah.
I mean, he goes, like I told you, he walks into the room, drops his pants down, and puts the balls on the table. And
he moons everybody. It's fucking great.
And you got to give him a week.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way I am. And y'all guys, that's one of the reasons why I listen to you. You give your perspective, but you can't go like scorched earth on day one.
Right.
You don't know what is in his mind. I'm telling you, if he can do what I want him to do, it'll be a miracle.
Yeah.
But we've got to take our country back. It's
not over yet. Be patient. It's going to be okay. I mean, I just reassure people all the time. I'm not worried about it. Like I said, at this point and stuff, the way I see things, the way things are going, and the way I, try to explain things out to people and stuff, I just try to let them know how these things are moving and what things are. Like I said, there's so much subterfuge and perception management and deception management, is that you're maneuvering through not a minefield of shit. You're maneuvering through a minefield of like what you're seeing from a multi-layered system that is collapsing simultaneously and then feeding you false narratives and propaganda, and then you're digesting it, and then you're trying to find out how you can recoil back from it, spit it out logically, and then take it to another level, and then use it against them to show them, meaning those people that are the controllers, the mockingbird attitude of the agitprops out there, to displace it. That's how you have to do it. You really have to take in time, and you really have to take in tow the conversation and articles and back it up. All right. I want to thank you so much, Roger.
No problem. Listen, everybody in South Carolina, we have to dump ground. We're going to vote for Mark Lynch.
Mark Lynch. Yep. I know. Thomas and I talked about him, and I told him, like, dude, with the primaries coming up, right? When's the primary?
June 9th.
June 9th. Mark, vote for Mark Lynch. I'm not going to, whatever. Yeah, you got to get Lindsey Graham out.
Yeah, and I love what you said earlier. Send him to the brothel and let him stay there. Yeah, exactly. The bathhouse. Let him just, just send him to the Turkish bathhouse and let him just go ape. I don't really care. I don't care about his personal predilections. That's you. We'll let him out
when that into your own bathhouse lifestyle.
Yeah, we'll let him out when his butthole tightens back up.
Yeah, or that,
All right, Brett, we'll see you.
He's got a sore throat, let's put it that way. Well, thank you, Roger. I appreciate it. And thank you for calling in, Rudy Poo. Ladies and gentlemen, Rudy Poo calling in. Thank you again. Don't be a stranger, my friend. Well, that was Rudy Poo, and that was great. It was fantastic. It was nice to see some people calling in. I got more to go. I promised True Terran the conversation, and we're doing it. Nuclear secrets or UFOs. Why 10 dead people? Now, we got 11. Now, this broad died in 2022, and we're hearing about it now. Scientists have left the U.S. alarmed. Okay? Let's continue. The U.S. government has been alarmed by reports. Trump talked about it today. Nearly a dozen U.S. scientists have died or gone missing since 2023. Well, the last person is number 11 died in 2022, and we're just hearing about it now. U.S. President Donald Trump earlier this week said this administration is examining the issue and released the information shoot. Okay, let's play a little bit of this.
Now for something out of this world. The debate over unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, has landed in the center of American politics. This time it's driven by a directive from President Donald Trump. The president announced on social media that he's directing federal agencies to begin identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life. This would include records related to UFOs. The president said the process would include information connected to what he described as highly complex matters. He did not specify whether classified material would be made public. Well, the announcement follows renewed public interest sparked by comments from former President Barack Obama. In an interview, when asked about extraterrestrial life, Obama said that the universe is vast enough for statistical odds to favor life existing somewhere else other than Earth. Well, President Trump, though, would not be drawn over whether he believed in aliens.
Something that got a lot of attention this week. Barack Obama said that aliens are real. Have you seen any evidence of non-human visitors to Earth?
Well, he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that.
So aliens are real?
Well, I don't know if they're real or not. I can tell you he gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. Well, he made a big mistake. He took it out of classified information. No, I don't have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it.
Well, there's currently no scientific evidence of intelligent life beyond Earth. The issue of unidentified
life down here either,
or UAP, has been the subject of official U.S. government review in recent years. In March 2024, the Pentagon released a comprehensive report concluding that it has never found any proof of alien technology. According to the report, many cases of alleged UFO sightings were just ordinary objects such as weather balloons, satellites, drones, or natural phenomena. The Congress has also held multiple public hearings on the matter. In May 2022, a House Intelligence Subcommittee hearing marked the first open congressional session on UFOs in more than 50 years. Lawmakers even called for a rigorous probe of unexplained sightings.
Unidentified aerial phenomena, but they are
I want to talk about the missing
real.
people, but
They
this
need
is
to
what
be
they're
in
doing.
That, as of today, any strange sightings originate very firmly from here on Earth.
The streets roared her name. Flash. Erbuto was gone. Catch the full story on the...
Who cares? I mean, look, they undercut this whole thing about this. Look, the last person I put it up on the Sun. The Sun had it, but the problem is with the Sun is that when I tried to put it up, they blocked it unless I paid the paywall. I'm not paying the paywall. The bottom line about that is that simply there was 11th victim, but she died in 2020, and they found her remains. We don't know how many people are involved. We don't know what this is connected to. We don't know if there's an ongoing event. Our own government is doing. Other people are doing this in some way. It just seems that it's growing. Slay News, go to slaynews.com. They have an updated version of that. I should have just did this, but I had a couple of Slay News in here. So Adam Schiff of sealed indictment with his name on it and knows that Tulsi Gabbard is a hero. What a brilliant move by Trump to place a Democrat in charge of DNI exposure for D-class evidence of treason. This came out just yesterday or today and stuff. I'm not going to play it. I don't have any time. What I will do is I will put it in the chat, and I expect the audience to go watch it because I got one more, and then we will dip out because we're past our time, and it's time to go bye-bye. All right, let me put that out. Oh, yeah, put that out. There you go. There you go. It's in the chat, so I'm out of here. So let me play one more, and then I'll drop the pills and stuff. I think there was one thing I wanted to cover because the ending of the gaming traffic control. I want to show you a video that is going on, and then we're going to cover this. Hold on. Watch this, and then we'll talk about it.
There's the win. There's the win. Peekaboo behind the counter. Oh my God. GG.
All right, I'm gonna stagger a little bit.
Win. There's the white. All right, so I think that's the clear for this side of the map. He's going to start to head in towards warehouse.
How badass is that video? I've seen it 100 times because I had to watch that. They're recruiting gamers to become traffic controllers. Let me show you the article, and I'm not going to put up Semaphore, but I found this a couple of days ago. Semaphore had the most updated, realistic one, but I like this article because it really breaks it down more specific. No degree, $150,000 pay. I'll take the job. Trump's FAA is recruiting gamers as air traffic controllers. How badass is that? The FAA's new recruitment campaign aims to attract gamers to air traffic control roles, emphasizing their decision and making skills. The Trump administration is pitching one of the country's most demanding jobs, yes, it is, to an audience used to making rapid decisions under pressure, gamers. And a new push by the Federal Aviation Administration, video game players are being urged to consider a career in air traffic control as the agency races to strengthen staffing and reassure travelers about safety. My one caveat about this, and I'll say this, is that how is the drug testing going to go? Because are a lot of them weed smokers, and are they going to bifurcate that? Are they going to move on from that? Or Adderall or anything else? I mean, you got to think about contextually What are they allowing to afford these people to get into these positions, but not allow them to operate under these types of drugs while becoming these types of, traffic controllers? Consider that. The campaign arrives at a sensitive time for the FAA after a fatal runway crash involving Air Canada aircraft and a fire truck at New York's LaGuardia Airport. An incident now under investigation for possible staffing and operational failures. Terrible. Officials are also highlighting the job's earning potential with average salaries from $150,000. It's £115,400 by third year and no college degree. So they're going to take European notes. Why the FAA thinks gamers could fit the air traffic. Now, this is interesting. A video released by the Department of Transportation, which you just saw that I played on April 10th, asked gamers and enthusiasts whether they're up for the challenge and becoming air traffic controllers, while stressing that the role is not simply a game, but a career. I mean, this is fascinating. The message is part of a broader hiring drive aimed at bringing 8,900 new controllers by the end of the fiscal year of 2028. Officials say the strategy is grounded in what current, former, and controllers have said about the job. Exit interviews with workers leaving the profession found that gaming was a common hobby and shared similarities with air traffic control, particularly the need to process information quickly, stay focused, and react calmly in complicated situations. Transportation Secretary Mr. Duffy said to reach the next generation of air traffic controllers, we need to adapt, adding that the argument is central to the administration's effort to widen the applicant pool at a time when the FAA remains under pressure and improve staffing across the system. I think this is awesome. I find it fascinating. I hope you do too. I was telling you about a friend I knew, I was friends with back in the day, high school and college, that in the 90s learned how to fly, and he's a captain of Learjets, a really good one. And he learned how to fly on his computer, and that's how he was able to move into the position where he was. And I can tell you right now, there's no doubt about it, that many gamers that are out there, I'm not a gamer, but I know that there are some, and there are people I know that are very talented at what they do, and they can have a full operational scenario of their lifestyle be, let's just put it this way, encapsulated at another level if they just want to take the plunge. And this was a very smart move by the Secretary of Transportation. I think this was fantastic, and I salute the Secretary of Transportation and the administration for thinking this and postulating this out, because many pilots that I know, especially my friend has talked to me, that they learned how to simulate landing and taking off on their actual computer. How amazing is that? Before they got into a simulation machine, before they got up in a plane, before they learned to land and take off and land. Do you understand that? Do you understand what that means? There are many people out there with the viability, the availability, the potentiality to what? To become something greater than themselves, okay, outside of gaming, and making a livelihood that's beneficial to them and their families. We should all support that. The new culture that we're living in, which is AI abound, we have to rethink and retool and react, okay? Not react negatively, but react positively in a way that we have to think about ways and avenues that we must, overcome systematic challenges that are, let's put it this way, it's no longer that we can wait and see how these things fit in and are integrated. We need to make sure that we take the plunge in with many people that could be ready, and that we have to fast track this immediately, because timing is of the essence. And what is necessary is because of a 50-year-old system of the FAA boards, computers, hard drives, traffic controllers are basically dying by the wayside, and we need to upgrade, reintegrate, retool, and let's just say manufacture and force feed a new discussion about how we look at the new people of train authors of a new discussion. And I think that's important because you might be ready to go. You might be you might be as simple as enough to go and get to schooling right away, pass it right away, and fast track it. There are people, if I was going to do it, I'm not a gamer, it would take me a long time. There would be people that have already the tools and the skills. You know, it's like riding a bike. You know, you don't teach someone to ride a bike that already knows to ride a bike. You teach them to do the tricks on the bike. That is what Duffy is saying. That's what Duffy is orchestrating out. That's what the administration is offering out. Okay, one last thing, and we'll drop out. And I'm going to cut the music because I think this is important. Thomas sent this to me. You know, I've been talking to Thomas. He's been reeling, Thomas from True Reporting. He's been reeling from a lot of stuff with his father and stuff. He says to hi everybody out there. And so I know I gotten some flack by, well, I'm not his errand boy to give messages out to people. But no, he wanted me to tell you. He texted me the other day. So he thanks everybody for the well wishes and the support. Reach out to him in some way. He sent this to me, and I felt a little saddened. And I understand why he sent this to me, but I want to share this to you, and I'll drop the pills. It's an amazing video, and you'll understand it at the end. A little short made about Norm. This is about Norm Macdonald.
In 2016, I made a recording of Norm Macdonald. I didn't really understand it at the time, but when I heard he died just a few years later, I went back and listened to it again.
I'm rolling.
Does anybody have a cigarette? I'm not going to light it. I just want to hold it to calm me down. Thank you. If a guy is really convinced of an afterlife, then life becomes more and more trivial, you know. You don't spend your days denying the catastrophe to come. When I was just starting out in comedy, I met a guy named Sam Kinison. He never made the mistake that a lot of entertainers do, which is to try to figure out.
My favorite comedian. Come on! I love him. Love him. Miss him. He was awesome.
What the audience wants to hear.
You suck! Come on! You want to party? Fuck it, let's go!
Please don't. Those guys are always the best. The ones untethered to this world. They're a little bit closer to heaven than all the rest of us. And Sam took me under his wing, kind of.
And now your host, the Weasel!
Hey, buddy. Let's get this party started.
Kinison told me there's two ways to write a joke. One, you do it like Jerry Seinfeld.
What's the deal with life cereal? Why don't we call it Odies or Squaries?
You take a little thing like cornflakes and you make it big and treat it with the utmost importance.
Oh no, this is much bigger than that. This is life, I tell you.
But the other way to do it, the better way, is you take a very, very important thing and do the opposite. Either way, it juxtaposes the absurd with the profound, and that dissonance is art.
Norm Macdonald!
When he told me that, it changed my whole comedy.
You know, with Hitler, the more I learn about that guy, the more I don't care for him.
Kinison had been a preacher, you know.
The Spirit of God! I screamed at God at the top of my lungs!
That's where he got that wild shriek. When he died, he'd finally quit drugs. He got hit head on.
Now listen to this. Very important.
By a fucking guy that was all stoned. It was very ironic. He got out of the car. He walked around.
Sam, are you all right?
And he said to his friend, Carl LeBeau, he goes, I'm fine, I'm fine. Internally, he was bleeding, but he looked fine. And then he says, why now? Why now? You know, and now he's talking to God. And then he smiles and he goes, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And he lies down and dies. So maybe you don't think there's Jesus Christ, but you got to know there's God. And people like Kennison, even when they die, they live forever.
Yeah.
For Sam. Amen.
Yeah.
All right.
This is towards the end of Norm's life. He's dying. And listen to this.
I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna cross that river. I'm gonna catch tomorrow night. You're gonna wanna hold me just like I always told you. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. Nobody here will ever find me, but I will always be around. Just like the songs I leave behind me, I'm gonna live forever now.
The big half place for Mr. Norm McDonald.
You fathers and you mothers, be good to one another. Please try to raise your children right.
If it's got Carrot Top in it, you know what a good name for it would be? What's that, Norm? Box office poison.
Just lead them safely to the light. When this whole world is blown asunder,
I haven't gotten funnier.
and all the stars
The
fall
show
from the sky.
has gotten really bad.
Remember, someone really loves you.
Clinton, he murdered a guy.
Yeah, you're not allowed to put out no
I thought it was a matter of record.
I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna cross that river. I'm gonna catch tomorrow now. I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna cross that river. I'm gonna catch tomorrow now.
And that's the way it is, folks. Good night and good luck.
If your words live, which yours will,
Yeah.
well, mine will and his will, just like the living word of the Bible, you're going to live forever.
It's all about the
Amen.
word. Amen.
God bless everybody.
God bless you, brother. Love you, man.
Yeah, love you too, bro. See ya.
Well, that's our show for this evening. Kiss your loved ones goodnight. Tell them you love them. That's a very sad thing to see. Thomas sent to me. I get that because I'm a big Sam Kinison fan. I love Norm MacDonald, but understanding our reality and our perception of our reality we're in, I wanted to share that with you as you shared that with me. That's what life is about. That's what we're all fighting about. I want to say good night. God bless. Be well. We're over our time. I shall return on Sunday. I promise. Now that I got all the kinks out, got a new chair, we're all ready to go. God bless. Be well. Be safe. And hug your loved ones. You never know what's going to happen. Ciao, Bella.